Hey guys, it's Katie. So I'm kind of excited about this project because I'm using some of my mixed media stuff and some of my other art stuff. I've been, since about ninth grade when I could afford to buy my own crafting supplies, I've been trying every single craft I could probably do. Um, so I have, I have products testing to make sure they're okay with polymer clay because I've never seen people use them, so I just want to be sure. But products that we already know, I'm trying to figure out how to get them and get this style onto clay. So, I mean, if someone's already done it, I don't know, but I'm trying to figure it out for myself. So, let me show you the tester pieces I've done. And I just did these last night, and they were on Sculpey 3, just because I still have some, and they're junk. And they were colors that I don't quite love. So this is one of them. And they don't have resin on them, and they were just kind of tests. And here's another one. Now this is alcohol ink, and there's a way on paper, either Yupo paper or regular paper, to create this kind of light fuzzy effect. Okay? And I want to do that on clay and use that as a backing. Now, the way I did this, because I was trying to think how it reacts on paper and doesn't get absorbed, and I was trying to think of how I do it not on clay and how to bring it to clay. So, what I have here is some white Primo rolled out on setting number 2 on my pasta machine, so a pretty thick setting. Actually, you know what? I might go to setting 3 just to get it a little thinner because I don't like my pieces to be super thick. I like them to be thin. So let me do that. I got a machine for my, or a motor for my machine now. It's kind of cool. For me, not crazy necessary, but it's definitely neat. Oh, I got a little color there, but that's okay. And I'm just going to smooth it down on my tile. I don't bake on paper, so I'm just going to smooth it on my tile. I don't mind a shiny back, but usually after I sand and buff, I don't really get shiny backs. For me, I find that I still get the little micro air bubbles, and I still get any kind of divots, whether I'm on paper or not. So I'm just making sure I got all the air bubbles out from underneath if I can help it. So I had one under there and I lifted it. I got a couple more under. So all I'm going to do is lift it up. And we're going to cut shapes out of this. Okay, I don't see any more air bubbles on this. Okay. So I have a couple cutters picked out that I'm going to use. I'm going to use this one, which I got on Etsy, and I have this on my Facebook group under the, I think it's under albums. I have that link. These ones I also got on Etsy, and I have a photo of that on my Facebook page under albums, I'm pretty sure, because I didn't get them on Amazon. The reason why I became an Amazon ambassador is so I could have all my Amazon products in one place. It's kind of hard to tell everybody separately, so I do have a US Amazon account now, and everything I've ever bought for that could work with polymer clay, and I even put my other art supplies, some of them on there. I'm just wiping off my cutters. I've put on, so that way you have what I purchased. And if you're not in the US, I'm sorry. Maybe you can find it on your country's Amazon just by getting the name or what it's called. Maybe you can find it. Just wiping off my cutters a little bit because they had a little excess clay on them. And these ones are laser cut, so they do have some slight outside ridges, but you really don't see that. I like these ones. What's nice about this company that I posted is on my albums is that they can make any size you want. which I love. So it came in like a set of like 5 or 6, and I was like, hey, can you make 3 instead of 5 or 6 for the same price in these sizes, because I won't use these littler ones, you know, stuff like that, or I won't use the bigger ones. And they did, and it even says it on their thing, cut to any size, I believe. Don't quote me on that, because I don't want to have someone ask for a 10-inch thing and they go, whoa, we don't make 10 inches, you know. So I picked 3 sizes, and I'm pretty much all I'm going to do is cut them out. So let me make sure I can fit them on here all the way. Perfect. Okay, let me take that metal one off. And if it's easier for you, you can use an acrylic block to push down on these. If it's hard on your hands, or your tile, you know, something hard and flat. Some people use, I know Fiona Abel Smith, when I used to watch her videos, she would use but she has double-sided cutters, so they're sharp on both sides. She would just use a piece of wood, you know. And then I'll push this one down. And then we'll put this one on because it's taller, so do that one after. And now there's 2 types of finishes you can get with this that I'm playing with, at least 2. 2 that I've done. Oh, I kind of lifted that one up some, but that's okay. Okay, let me get rid of all the excess. Made my edge a little wonky there, but that's fine because I'm going to be trimming it later. Okay, so there's one, now I do need to resin these to see how they'll look under resin. There's one that's got more of a sheen to it, and that reminded me of Yupo paper. I was trying to figure out how to get a gloss, and this one doesn't. This one also I used metallic ink, so that's why it looks kind of funny here. Maybe I'll resin a portion of these before the end just to see them, but I was just seeing how to get this technique. So it definitely reacted a little differently depending on how I did it. So what I'll do is maybe I'll do 2 with the shiny and 1 with not, and then we'll see the difference. We'll play together because I've only done those 2, so I want to play. And we're going to play together. So the way I got the shininess was using some liquid clay. And honestly, I don't think this is clear because I got it in a set when I ordered a Kato starter set. If you're using white clay, you could use white. You probably could use Bacon Bond, you know. You could use black if you're doing black, if you have stuff that will show up on black. So all we're pretty much going to do is put a nice thin layer over the pieces that we want this type. And try it out. Use some junk clay. That's why I use Sculpey 3, you know, and try it out and see what you like. So we're going to just put a whole layer on this. I don't have a very big hole in this. Okay, we'll see if that's enough. And what other one do I want to do with this? Maybe this one? And this will be a fun technique, I believe. We'll be able to create all kinds of things because I'm sure you've seen it. If you do anything with alcohol ink, I'm sure you've seen this technique, which I will show you in a little bit. And if you haven't, now you have, and you can do all kinds of things with it. Okay, so I'm just going to take a silicone tool. You could take a toothpick, a brush, whatever you want. Though if you use a brush, it does kind of destroy your brush. Though, this cleaner that I use for my oil paints, let me grab it if I can reach it, I realize really takes off quite a bit your liquid clay off your brushes. This is the Masters Brush Cleaner and Preserver. I use this for oil painting to clean my brushes, and oil paints are pretty heavy duty. So if you have brushes that you're struggling to get stuff off, try this. This works pretty good. I got it at Michael's. And I've had this jar for probably like 12 years. I mean, it's almost empty. I just ordered a new one. It's like a block. It comes in a whole like a block of soap almost. You just rub your brush on it and it lathers up, but I'm almost out of it. So all I'm going to do is just spread this all the way to the edge. And then we're going to bake it. And I am going to bake it at 300 degrees, which is what the Kato recommends. And I'm going to bake it for a while, because I don't think I'm gonna, well, I don't know, we'll see. I don't think I'm gonna put backings on these, and I don't think I'm gonna side them, but I may decide to put something on the edge. So if I'm not sure, I tend to bake them for my normal baking time. So I'm just spreading out to a nice thin layer, and it will kind of even itself off. I'm waiting for some white liquid clay to come. I ordered it months back. Totally, they told me they were out of stock, which I said was fine. I wasn't like dying for it. And then I was looking for it the other day. I'm like, where the hell is my white liquid clay? And I realized it never came in. And so I emailed the lady on Etsy, and I was like, hey, have you gotten your order? And she's like, no, we still haven't gotten our order. I mean, I ordered this in like May, and it is now mid-September. And she's like, and she asked me even then, do you want me to refund you? And I said, no, it's fine. I'll just take it when it comes, because I wasn't in dire need for it. She's like, I can also send you Sculpey, the Sculpey brand white liquid clay. And I was like, no, I'll do Kato, because I have Kato in black and clear. And so they still haven't gotten it from the Kato company, or whoever they get it from. And so I just had her send me Sculpey. Whatever. Okay. So that's all we need to do to start. Now what we're going to do is bake this. And I'm probably going to bake it, because I don't know if I'm going to bake it again, for at least 50 minutes, if not an hour, at the recommended temperature. I will keep an eye on it, because it is going at 300 to 350 for 20 to 30 minutes. Now, because the clay usually bakes at 275, I did bake these other ones at 300. And they didn't burn, but I only baked these for about 30 minutes because they were just tester pieces. So once 30 minutes is done, I'm going to keep an eye on these guys to make sure nothing's burning. I am going to tent it. This time I will use tin foil. Usually I just literally lay a piece of paper. This time I am going to tent it with tin foil, so that way it doesn't touch it. This one I'm going to leave with nothing, and we'll be able to compare and play with the look of it. And the reason why I cut it out is because I don't find this technique works very well on raw clay, okay? Usually when you make this wispy kind of look, you do it on Yupo paper, or like cotton paper, or crafting, like painting paper, watercolor, whatever, cotton usually, hot press, cold press, whatever. So I was trying to get it to move like you would, and the way we're going to do this, raw clay probably wouldn't be a good idea. But you can play with it. Play with it. Try it out. Why not, you know? But I'm going to do it on baked clay, which is why I cut my pieces out, because obviously now that they're hard, they're hard. I guess I could grind them down to a pendant shape. But it's probably easier just to do it ahead of time, like this. Cut your shape out, spread your liquid clay on, or not, and bake it. And then when this is done, we'll come back and I will show you the next part of this technique. Be careful getting it to your oven, because if you tilt it too much, it could run off. Potentially. Like, I gotta walk all the way upstairs, so if I wasn't paying attention, I could flow this right off, because it has a nice layer over all of it. Okay. Now, sometimes liquid clay can bake really weird. Sometimes it bakes flat. And I've had other times, like this black one, where I got little bubbles in it. And I'm not quite sure why it bubbled. I mean, I just did it like this. I spread it on, and that was it. And this one got bubbles, and this one didn't. So I'm not quite sure. I mean, yes, you can see the texture from the alcohol ink, especially the one with the mica in it, but if anybody knows why the liquid clay bubbles up some, let me know. But either way, gonna get it in the oven. I'll stop talking and I will be back later. Okay guys, so these are all out of the oven. So what I've done now is the one without any alcohol or liquid clay on it, I sanded I did a quick sand, front and back, and then buffed it with my orange wheel and my white wheel. I sanded 4, 6, 8, 1000 to 1500 just to get a little sheen on the front and back, and then buffed it. On the liquid clay, I just again sanded the back and buffed it a little bit, and then I trimmed the edges up on all 3 with my orange wheel. This one I sanded the back, but I haven't buffed it, and I haven't cleaned the edges up, so I was just going to quickly do that on camera. Okay, just to get these little edges gone. So you can do that with your wheel, actually pretty simply with your orange wheel, because it's slightly more coarse and at a higher speed with putting a little more pressure. And you'll have to play with this and feel that out, okay? I'm going to move you over my lap because it's easier for me to work. I'm going to be around speed 15 on my Dremel 4000. I know I've showed you this a bunch of times. I do have an Amazon ambassador page. The link will be below. The reason why I have that mainly is so when everybody asks me, where'd you get this, where'd you get that, it's all in one place. So anything I've ever purchased for clay is on there. And so I'm just going to use this orange wheel here, and I've showed you how to do this many times, and I'm just going to trim up the edges. I am going to choke up really tight and pull towards me, except for when I'm going to the tips, because sometimes on points you can ring and gouge it, so then I tend to just do a quick away and go with the way it's spinning. Again, that's something you're going to have to play with. And so yeah, anyways, let's do it. Turn it down. So I'm going to get rid of these little edges here pretty easily. This is where the seam with the cutter, from the cutter was right here. On this side I usually have to trim it a little bit more because it's a pretty big seam on this cutter. My metal cutter that I have. And that one, this cutter, this shape, in my Facebook page, is in albums, because that one I got on Etsy. I have a photo of it. Okay, and then I'll do a quick buff on the back. Because I don't want to sand these afterwards. I'm going to sand them now, and you'll see why in a minute. I'll show you. And obviously you can spend a lot more time buffing this if you're not on camera. Okay, and then I'll use my white wheel because it's a little finer, so I'm going to hold my lock button down, untwist it so it widens it, pull it out, put the next one in, hold the lock button down, twist it tight, give a little tug to make sure it's in there. But even if this was to fling out, this one's a soft one, so it won't bother you. But just get in the habit of giving it a tug, because if you're using like a diamond burr or a carbide burr, it's going to hurt if it slips off. It could. So that's done. They're all smooth. And the reason why I'm doing this ahead of time and not after is because during my test phases, some of the alcohol ink went over the back, and I'm going to leave it like that. I'm going to let it go where it wants to go, pretty much. I mean, I wasn't trying to. That just went over the back. So I'm going to let it do its thing. Okay, so like I said before, we're going to get kind of two different effects depending. So this one has the liquid clay on it, and this one doesn't. And they kind of spread both kind of differently depending on what surface you're using. And we're going to be playing a little bit together. So let me get my alcohol inks out, and we'll pick some colors to play with. Okay, so it's 11:16, and I really should be going to bed, but I wanted to try one of these before I went to bed. So, let me just see here. I'm going to put it on a tile, and that way if it leaks off onto the back, it'll be on that tile, and I can clean this tile up later. I'm just scraping off the stuff that's on it quickly. That way I don't get my big tile a mess. So my thought is to have one vintagey, to have one kind of fallish, and to have one just go for it. I don't have many pinks, so I'm going to go for a pink one. But you could use whatever colors you want. So my vintagey one, and I just, because I wasn't quite sure what colors I had, I just did a quick put it out here. And it was just kind of a quick thing. Now on this one here, right in the center where it kind of looks a little different right here, that has the pearl. What do they call it? I believe it's pearl. The alcohol ink pearls, the new ones on it. So it definitely changes the effect if you use it. Again, this doesn't have resin on it yet, but I don't think I want to use the pearls. I don't know. For some reason, I don't love it. So what I have here you're going to need is some alcohol ink. This is 99% alcohol. I just bought these bottles, which actually are kind of handy. They have a really small little tip. So you're going to need your alcohol. I also have my cheap hair dryer. Now I got this at our local, it was a Rite Aid, now it's Walgreens, our local drugstore. It's a cheap hair dryer, and it does have a low, which is what I want. I want a low speed. You could also use like an airbrushing thing that moves air around. You could probably use a straw, but usually when I see it on paper, when we do it on like Yupo paper or like watercolor paper, if you look at wisping technique, it's done either with most of the time with a heat gun or a hair dryer to move it around. So I'm going to use a hair dryer because the heat gun will probably get too hot for the clay. And this has the glossy surface, so this will be more, and it did bubble a little bit, but again, we're going to resin it. But this has more of a texture of Yupo paper, was my thought about putting the liquid clay on it. So, this is going to be my vintagey one. And the sandal, when I just put it out, is really light. So I think I'll start with the sandal. And all we're going to be doing, let me back up my camera a little bit and then zoom in, is we're going to be dropping a bunch of alcohol on and some of the inks. And I wish they had a smaller tip. Like I may attempt, because I have a big bottle of white, to put a bottle of white in here and see what it does, because this tip is nice and fine. So anyways, we're going to be dropping out a drop or however much you want, putting some alcohol, and then we're going to be spreading it around with our hair dryer. The other thing is, the other day I just used my pliers to kind of move it around and hold it down so it didn't blow away. But I'm actually thinking, what if I use a little piece of tape? Maybe that will hold it to my tile better. Like, let's see. I don't know. You know, and think of this as like a veneer. You could do anything you want on top of this. I have a couple ideas of stuff I have with me right now, but you could do tons of stuff on this. So let's put a drop of this sandal on. And yes, you're going to be hearing my hair dryer. And the sandal's really light, so I'm going to start with one drop. And then we're going to put the alcohol right on top of it. And I'm going to immediately start blowing it around to get this kind of wisping effect. Like this. Okay, and again, I've only done 2, so we'll be playing with this together. So a bunch of alcohol on low. Just kind of begin moving it around. And if it goes off to the backside, I'm okay with that. So you get it fairly dry. And then this, I'm definitely going to need a couple layers of this because it's fairly pale. I don't know, we'll see what we get for the look. Ooh, that dried really fast on that one, huh? Let's see if we add a little bit more alcohol to it. We can get it to move again. I don't mind it darker, I just don't want a line there. Okay. So we're just getting this light kind of coloring. It looks yellow on camera, but in real life it doesn't. And then the next color I was going to use is Pebble. So the Pebble has ink on it, but it is Pebble. Okay. This is definitely darker. And it does turn a little blue with the alcohol sometimes, so we'll see what it does. It's got a gray tone to it, which I do like. Oh, it didn't turn blue, good. You do need a good amount of alcohol to get it to flow and move. And when it starts to set on you, just put some more alcohol on it. If you don't like it. If you're okay with it, then leave it. Okay, I like this area here. Let's add some more up here, I guess, because that's where it dripped. So a good amount of alcohol, quite a few drops. And you're kind of wanting it to layer. You know, that's your goal, is to get it to kind of layer up and make some cool effects. Some cool marbly effects. Looks cool. I like it, at least. I'll show you guys in a sec. Let me see if I can get the glare gone a little more. That's too low because it is big. So try different ways of doing this. Alcohol. And don't forget, if you don't like it, you can always just tap it up, you know, with a paper towel or something. Now, I do have this color Espresso, which is quite dark, and I hope I don't get a lot, but it may happen. Let's do it over here. Sorry, I keep bumping the camera. Oh, look at that. It's split and turned a little red, huh? That one has a little reddish tone, so it split a little bit when you applied the ink and it turned, or the alcohol, and it turned a little red. I like that. I think it's cool. And actually, the little bubbles in the liquid clay adds a kind of a neat effect. If someone knows why that happened, let me know. I baked it at 300 degrees, like the liquid clay says. They didn't scorch or anything. I had them tinted. I don't know why some of them bubble and some of them don't. I think I want to apply more Pebble in this red spot because I don't like the red as much. And then I might do a little sandal on top after. That really light. Actually, that started to turn it. You know what might look good? A little white. Over the edge there. Let's see if I can do a little bit more, but without a bunch of alcohol. Ooh. gotta spread it a little more than that. This is just fun. Just play. Have a good old time. Be creative. Be a kid. Be a child. I kind of really like that right there, actually. I almost feel like I want to add a little white and see what might happen, right? We're just playing. We're trying. Tap off some of that dark. But I kind of like it. It's just something different to try, right? Let me decant some white into a little container like this, because I got a set of these. If you guys want me to put these on my Amazon, I can. But let me get my big bottle of the Pinata white in this and see what that looks like. Now quickly, because I think this funnel still has a good drop on it, I'm going to do this. Because it came with a little funnel. Let's see what that looks like. Ready? Ooh, it kind of goes a little grainy. That's weird. Well, it doesn't spread like I want it. Maybe the white's a little different. Or maybe it was setting too much in that funnel. Okay. Now I can keep adding alcohol to see if I can get it to spread, or I'm going to test it again. Don't be afraid to try. Okay. Maybe I need more alcohol to get it to move a little bit more. I don't know. So the white's definitely funny. White's definitely funny. It's different. Now this is Pinata. But so are some of these colors that I'm going to be using. So the white's definitely reacting a little funny. It is more opaque. See how it split and turned a little blue? That's okay. It makes it different. And see, all you need to do, say you want to get it off. Q-tip, alcohol. And because it hasn't been on there long, take it off. Take whatever off you don't like. So the white's... This brand white's not working out very good for this particular piece. I wasn't looking for something that bold. I was hoping I'd water it down and it would be fine, but it didn't really give me what I wanted. So let's go back here. I'm almost done with it, if I can. Should have left it. That's what happens when you do trials. You gotta try to know. Because even, say you watch a video on something, like, even without trying it, you really don't know. And I have not seen a video on this, so this is, I don't know. This is not something I've seen a video on, other than when I was learning about alcohol inks way back when, and I learned how to do this on paper. But I've never seen this done on clay. And I think I'm going to add a little, I want it a little lighter. Let me see if I can get the sandal to do what I want it to do, to lighten it up a little bit, because I had an idea for this. Let's add a lot of alcohol and see what we get. Good. More of the pebble, which is a light color. This also looks good just dripping it and letting it be too. I like it. Obviously it's a little warm right now, so you might want to just let it sit for a minute. The tape did seem to help a little bit. And what we'll do later is I'll sponge the back with these colors later. So that way the back kind of has the same. And then we'll resin the top, obviously. And then we'll just seal the back. So that one can sit and kind of rest itself here. Let me wipe my tile up. Oh, that was white, not alcohol. I really should be going to bed, but I don't want to yet. I'm not tired yet. I'm tired, but I'm not tired. My mind's not tired, which is what happens because I have wicked insomnia. Let's try the one without it and see how it looks different. And maybe with this one, let me put a piece of tape because that did seem to help it, and then I could just spin the tile itself. Whereas yesterday I was taking the tweezers, or the other day, and I was spinning it like this. But it is pretty lightweight, so it can blow away. I got another idea for that one. I need to make this one darker. Ooh, I have another idea, guys. It just hit me. I had one intention for it, but it's not light enough for what I was intending. So now if I make it darker, I have something. Oh, I have something in mind. Okay, we're going to darken this first one a little bit more and get more of this all over. Oh, I have an idea. See, sometimes just playing, like the other day, I posted on my group, I made some akumegane, and that really just got me inspired to make something, you know? So, go for it. Get inspired. Sometimes just playing inspires you. And all of a sudden, I just got an idea for this project. I had one idea in mind, and it changed because it wasn't quite turning out to what I wanted. When I put the pebble on, it really kind of clears it up when I put the alcohol. Come on, go. I'm tilting it a little bit. This spot I don't quite love right here. Okay, and then some espresso. I wish I had more browns, but I don't. Let me put a little back of this to see if I can get it to move. This is the sandal color. See if I can get it to move without adding alcohol to it. Now the sandal is like a yellowy color, so it's kind of turning a little green there, but that's okay. Because it just adds to the funness of it, I think. Oh, and there's that blue showing up. Okay, we'll leave that as is. I think that's fine for now, because that's darker than it was. Okay. Now this one, let me get a new piece of tape. Tape this one down, and let's do, on this one, let's do the fall color on this one. So for the fall colors that I have picked out, I have this new, I got it off of Etsy, I just searched, I forget who I got it from, but this is their new set of colors. Pinata came out with a new set, and here's one of the other ones I'm going to use. So this is called the golden yellow, and that's the yellow. It's a pretty yellow, because I have some yellows and I'm like, that's ugly. So I have the golden yellow. The sandal could also work in this because it's so pale. I have the called Beza orange, and that's mainly what this was made out of. Now normally this isn't my favorite color, but spread out like this I actually liked it. And then I do also have, may or may not want to use this, the terracotta. And that's what the terracotta looks like. I've never used it. Pretty much looks like terracotta, but it might be too dark. And we could try white again too and see if it works with this piece, and the way it kind of like almost clumped up a little bit and may look cool in a certain piece. You know what I mean? It might get a neat effect. It just wasn't what I was looking for in the brown one. So I may still use the white, and that could be a cool effect. So let me move all my stuff out of the way, because it definitely blows away. Give me a... Okay, and let's... I'm like, do I start with the yellow or do I start with the orange? Normally I would think you would start with your lightest color first, but with the way this kind of clears up when you put the alcohol, I don't think it really matters, but I wouldn't add your dark until you're sure. So let's do the orange first. I'm going to open it up away, because sometimes you get those crusty bits. Okay, ready? Let's put a drop there. And I like to cover mine too, because I'm using heat around it, so I don't like to keep them real close. A couple drops of alcohol, get it to move around. And you can achieve a really light effect if you don't use as much color and just keep adding alcohol and moving it. So I added like, what, 1 drop there, and they have pretty big tips on the piñata ones. If anybody from the piñata people ever watched this, I wish you had skinnier tips. All the companies, really, I wish they had tips like this. So you can always add more, it's hard to add less. I'm sorry if this is loud, I can't make my hairdryer mute. Ooh. I kind of like that as is. And you see how, even though both of them aren't resined, you see how you have just kind of a different finish. Which we'll see if that makes a difference once we resin. I almost kind of like that right there. And I'm going to add some yellow. I don't think I'm going to add terracotta on that because I think it will be too dark for what I have planned for this one. I have a plan for all 3 of these. Or I did in my head, now one changed, but that's okay. So I'm going to add a little bit of this golden yellow. A couple drops. And obviously yellow and orange will make a brighter orange. You know, also think about your color theory and what colors mix and what colors don't, because they do mix up when we're spreading them like this. You know, so you wouldn't want to do green and red unless you want a type of brown. I'm going to let it sit and eat away at that for a second. Get rid of some of those skinny lines. Here too, I don't like this skinny line. So if I let it sit for a second, it'll eat into that, what I already had, and start dissolving it again. And this little spot right here, I'm going to tap up a little bit. This little spot here, I'm going to tap up a little bit. I could even put probably a little alcohol right on here. Yeah, like, why can't they make them with smaller tips? Like, you can always put 4 or 5 drops on it, but when they have a big nozzle, it's hard to control how much you're adding. Ooh, even just tapping it with a paper towel, putting a little alcohol is having it do its normal alcohol thing. See, when you, obviously this is what normally happens with alcohol inks, you get these like blooms. It's a little busy there, huh? I'm not really aiming it directly at it. I'm kind of aiming at it here. So I don't want to heat anything up too much. If you have a cool button, you could probably just use your cool button, which I do, but I'm not. But if you have a really nice hairdryer that gets really hot, you might want to. So you don't heat your stuff up too much. But I'm only blowing it like right here. Kind of next to it. Oops, sorry. was going to wipe that up, but I actually... Okay, so I think I'll leave that one as is. Clean up my tile a little bit. So this is just fun. It is quite fun, actually. Like I said, I'm going to be using more of my mixed media supplies because I kind of get bored with crafts, so that's why I do so many crafts. Like, a lot of crafts. I know I've only shown you like one oil painting and one framed piece, but I do have a bunch. At least on video, that's only what I've showed you. I know I've posted a bunch of my oil paintings and wood burnings and a couple mosaic sun catchers I made. Yeah, we'll do the same thing on this back. Oh, that was a little of the brown that got on there, but that's okay. We'll sponge paint the backs later. Okay, and so for this pink color, I am going to use bright pinks, I think. So this one is the pink. That's the color there. The Pinata pink. This is one of their new colors. And then I also have Flamingo, which is this one here. And I do have more. Where did I put them? Right here. I do have Raspberry. That's a pretty color. I need to order more because I actually like that color. I have Senorita Magenta. Senorita Magenta. That's a pink as well. So the Senorita Magenta. Looks like that, which is actually very similar to the Flamingo. And that's what I find a lot with these pinatas and the other inks is they have this one has a little more blue tone to it actually. But they're very, very similar. This is the Raspberry. Which is a nice bright one too. So I might use them all. I don't really like purple, and as that's drying, it's looking more purpley to me. But we'll see. So let's see. What do I want to do first? Let's do the Pinata pink. That's taped down. So let's see what this does. On my hands. I wasn't supposed to. I gotta work tomorrow. Just take some alcohol to my fingers. Oh, that's gonna be nice and light, huh? Super delicate and pretty. Go over the edge. Okay, so that was that pink. Let's do the Raspberry. Because I like the Raspberry. I use it a lot. Which is why it's my only one that's almost empty. That and my black and white that I've gone through using it on projects. And again, I don't mind if it... Ooh! Look what it did. It turned purpley. Which actually, it's like a pink purple. It's not a blue purple. So I really, honestly, I don't mind. Look at what that did when it mixed. How cool. Let's do some Flamingo. Flamingo. See what that does. Ooh. Ooh, ooh, ooh. It's very exciting to see this for the first time with you guys. Half the time when I'm making these videos, I know people make these videos and they get very professional about it and stuff. Like they're a teacher teaching a student. My whole thing about making videos with you guys is like we were crafting together in my house. If you haven't noticed, that's kind of how my videos are. It's like we were chilling in my house crafting. Super pretty. You know, because it's weird to talk to a camera when no one's here. It's kind of odd. That was coral, but the coral actually looked more reddish. That's the coral down there. So I used the pink, I used the raspberry. I actually really like that. right where I'm at. Maybe just a hair. Let's just see if I can change that spot a little bit. Not a lot, just a little bit. Because I really like this spot here, and that one's actually pretty the way it is. Yeah, maybe we'll leave these like this. Okay. Super pretty. It's very fun. It's nice and relaxing. You don't really have to think about it, you know? Just let it kind of flow. No pun intended, it's just flowing. Okay, so these are the three we got. We have this one, and this one. And once we resin them, we'll see if having the liquid clay actually makes a difference. It seems like it makes a difference on the way they move. To me, I don't know what the heck is on that. In the way they actually are moving on there, they seem to flow a little better. I'm not actually quite sure what this spot is. Did I get a little from the, did you guys see me put a little something splash on it? Could have been another color from my paper towel. Ah, I can wipe it up. Yay. Just adding a little alcohol on my Q-tip and just wiping any kind of darker spots off. Nope, don't do it with the blue side. So I'm just playing. I'm nitpicking here. I'm not really actually showing you anything right now. Just seeing what will happen. If I take this wet Q-tip and kind of move things around a little bit, spots that I might not like that I want a little bigger, it gets a little bubble there. Where it's actually creating like a little cauliflower. Kind of guiding it along where I want it to bloom out. There we go. Got 3. So let me pick all my alcohol ink up, and then I will show you what we're going to do with these next. Because I have a plan for them. Okay, so I have these cheapo sponge brushes, and I've never bought the real tool to do alcohol inks, like that felt tool. But I have these, so I'm going to use these to do the backs with. Maybe one. It came in a big bag with a bunch of these sets, but maybe I need one more smaller one. So like it came in a whole bunch of these packs. Okay, so all I'm going to do now that the fronts are pretty well dry, I'm going to start on this one, is I'm just going to sponge paint the back quickly, pretty easily. That way we have the back colored a little bit. Oh crap, I just dropped it. Good thing it fell like on my lap. You know, and the sides, so that way, and obviously if you wore gloves it'd probably be better. Let's just tap this on here, just to coat it. So it's not so stark white. Kind of blends in a little bit more. We could also take our Q-tip again with some alcohol on it and get it to kind of spread around. You know, it is just the back, so it doesn't need to be crazy beautiful. It just needs to be kind of cohesive. That way if it happens to flip around, which I have not seen one of my pendants, I have not been like walking around the office and all of a sudden my pendant's flipped over. That hasn't happened to me once. But just in case it flips around and that it's really going to bother anybody, like that it would, but I'm sure people will tell me, well, you really should do your backs better. That's a personal thing, personal choice. Feel free to do your backs however you want. But in my case, I just want them to look a little more cohesive. That's a big drop. There. Okay, let's let that do its thing. And let's do the orange one next. I didn't even close this. And then maybe some on the yellow. Just kind of move it around a little bit. The sides a little bit. So add a drop of alcohol here or there so it moves it around a little. Get rid of that tape mark slightly. Okay. I'm okay with that. I know I got my bathrobe on. Sorry. What time is it? Where's my clock? 11:56 p.m. Sunday night. Okay. Brown wood dried really funny right there. There we go. And you don't know what's going to happen once these things dry too. Like, you'd be surprised how much it continues to move. Let's let those do their thing. Let's do the pink one. It's not 100% dry, but it'll be dry enough. Okay. Let me save the raspberry because I don't have much of it. Okay, most of the sides are actually coated, which is awesome. Let's add just another little bit more of the flamingo. There we go. Alcohol on my brush. If I get this line to move a little bit. Nope, the line does not want to move. What other color did I use? Raspberry. Let's put some raspberry on there. That was a big drop of raspberry, and it had a little piece of something in it. From the cap or something. Okay, so these ones have dried, or finished spreading. Can always keep changing it by adding a little alcohol. I like the brown one. I'm satisfied with the brown one for a back because it kind of goes with the front. So I'm satisfied with that. The orange I kind of want to keep moving a little bit because it has just too many big circles. Oop, didn't want to do that, but that's okay. So I kind of want to merge them a little bit. There we go, and the pink needs a little more movement too. And right now I'm figuring out what I can also do with this. You know, I'm still creating and playing here. Yeah, see, watch it move. And you can always fast forward, guys. If you don't want to watch this, feel free to fast forward. You can, if you're using like a cell phone, you can double tap your screen on the left hand side, on the right hand side, I believe, and it'll fast forward it 10 seconds. You can just fast forward, or you can hit the playback speed and speed it up by however much you want to speed it up. So don't feel like you ever have to watch this. I'm not forcing anybody to ever watch these. If you're not enjoying it, I wouldn't watch either. Okay, so now these need to completely dry. Let me get a new tile. Let them completely dry, probably overnight. You know what, I could take my hair dryer to them a little bit, and that would probably dry them the rest of the way quickly. Whoop. See what I mean about blowing away? Right now I have my finger on my cold air thing. So I have a choice of cold or hot air. Oh, from my finger I just got a little thing on it. Katie, because I should be wearing gloves. Come on, get off there. Good, okay, it's off. I think this is my front. Yeah, this is my back. Okay, So now they're all done, and I'm happy with them. And then for you, you won't know, but tomorrow I'm going to finish this video after work. So let me just get everything put away, and I'll get the next stuff out, and I'll show you what we're going to do next to finish these up. Okay, so here's my pink one. And what I plan on doing, and I'm going to try to attempt to do, is stamp on this. Now, I do have all these stamp sets on my Amazon Ambassador page, so I want to use this one. And then from this set, I also want to use this one. And so I have on a little acrylic block here, this guy here. And I'm going to ink him up with some archival jet black ink. You could use Stays On or whatever inks you usually use. I'm going to kind of put him more down here so I can fit the butterfly at the top. Now you kind of only have one shot at this, so the goal is to make sure you ink it up well enough and put it on once. Now, I'm not great at stamping. I'm really not. I haven't, like, when I was stamping on mixed media, you don't have to be crazy precise about it, because you're just stamping and you're going to cover it with something else. Now, if we mess this up, I can always just take some alcohol and wipe it off and then retry it again. Okay, ready? So let's see. Definitely kind of a blurred. Do you think people will get the point? I don't know if I should do just a couple more, like that one right up there a little bit. Just that one guy. Let's try it. Now I'm playing with this with you guys. I mean, I've never done this, so I'm just going to do these two little ones. See if I can get them to mark. Like that. Oh, those are much clearer than my other two. I think I'm going to leave it because I don't want to get too... I could mess it up the next time, and this time's not really horrible. What I am going to do, I also have these new markers, and I don't know if I've put these on my Ambassador page, but they're made with archival inks as well. And I'm going to use these because I believe they are black as well. Because I think I got black. This is a brush tip here. They have all different kinds of tips, and I want the smallest one I can find. 0.8, 0.6. What's this one? It's this one. Is the skinniest one. I wonder if I can... Oh, I kind of like how that's wiping the ink off a little bit. Let's see, how do they do it? They put a little dot in the center here. That looks stupid. You think people will get the point? I think I'm okay with that. I think I'm okay with that. So these are pigment liner, water-based, water-resistant ink brushes, and they have all different size tips, and these are just black. And again, I'll put these on my thing. I don't know if I have yet or not, but I'll put these on my ambassador page. I plan on using them for something else that I'll show you in the future. I don't know. This wasn't like planned out. I'm just trying to figure stuff out. And I want to use this butterfly somewhere up here. I'm going to try. I'm going to attempt. We'll see if that will actually work. Now I do have a smaller one in here, but it's not detailed enough. So this, pretty much this is my smallest one I have. Unless I do like this straight on one, but I kind of like this guy. Whether I cut off the back wing, I think I should put on the, leave the front wing on. Do it more tilted like that. Let's try that. Hopefully I can get him clear. Nope. I can kind of see where the bottom wings are, so I can, I'm just trying to re-ink it and see if I can attempt to do it without drawing it. I don't know if this black is actually wet enough. Does that look like a butterfly? It kind of goes with this theme, though, of this, like, smudgy kind of look. Which I actually don't mind it. Where did I just put those markers? Right here. Oh, that was a big one. Don't want a big one. Let's see if I can just touch him up just a tiny bit. So one of his antennae come out here, but where I already have some ink, it doesn't seem to want to mark as well. But this is definitely a stamping type look. My pendant also curves a little bit, which is probably why the corners aren't getting as well. And maybe if I look at this design right here with this, I can try to doodle it. A little bit. Just being like jaggedy in my strokes. Just to kind of close his wing off a little bit. Now you could put on top of what you're doing whatever you want. I just thought it would kind of look neat stamping it. But I'm not that good at stamping either. Obviously, as you can tell. Let me finish kind of his bottom wing. Just kind of tapping and being loose in my strokes here. It's kind of fun. I actually kind of like the way it looks, for sure. I actually really like that. Not everybody will, but I kind of do. I'm going to leave that one. What if I sign this one? Like this, because it does kind of look like a piece of art, even though it's not technically all my art. Why not? I like it. I think it looks cute. Okay, so I'm going to let that one dry. Now the next one, let me get that one off of there. Let me clean these stamps. I'll be right back. So the next one, I have these really cute little stamps that I just got in the mail that I've been waiting for. Now, this is a company I found a while back when I was doing mixed media. And they make these really mini little stamps. I mean, these are small. Like, if you look at my thumbnail, and I wear extra small gloves. I mean, I weigh 93 pounds. So these are small stamps. Yeah. Small stamps. So this company is called Lavinia Stamps. It's out of the UK. I ordered the 3 I like. Now this one looks more pot plantish to me now that I got it. It's called Mini Leaf 5. It does more look up close more like a pot leaf. And then I also had, they had this branch one. I'm not going to use that today, but they have it. This is a mini branch. I told them they need to make more mini stamps. There's not enough small stamps out there that we can use on jewelry. But I also have this little leaf here. And this one doesn't have a name on it, but it looks like a maple leaf. And I was thinking about using that on here. Now I need to decide what colors I want to use, because I was thinking to do a color not far off of this. No, not orange though. So you have some kind of more distant. Oh, there's this color. There is plum, sepia, Vermilion. Let me just get out any. These all came in a set, these little mini archival inks. And again, I think I do have them on my Amazon Ambassador page, which I love them because then you get a whole bunch of colors and they're not very big because I don't stamp tons. So let's see. This is Plum. Definitely a purple. Don't want to use that. Not a bad color, but not for this. This is Monarch Orange. We can see if that even shows up. This is Vermilion. Definitely probably a red, just like oil paints and Vermilion. And then we have Sepia, which will be like a brown, which I may use as well. So let's start off with the Monarch Orange and actually see what happens and see if it shows. Because I was planning on doing 2 different colors, you know. So let's see if this is deep enough to actually show up on my project. Hopefully I'll get better at this as I go. Oh, I moved it. Oh, but that's not bad though. Okay. And because it's a very similar tone, my little smudge, I'll have to practice. That one was definitely more liquidy than the black is. The black's a little dried out, I think. You won't see it that much. Let's see. There we go. I'm going to get some practice at this. Let's see if we guys still got some ink on there to get some fainter ones. See? We're going to add like a layered effect, like I would do on a mixed media piece. And then we'll come back with a darker. Oh, definitely smudge that one. Okay. And I'm not going to clean it. I'm just going to leave it. Let's next maybe do some red. Let's just try to do maybe tap the little ones off. Let's see if we can get just some red on the big ones, on the big one. Let's see if I'm capable of doing that. Sorry, I'm trying to hold it up so I can see where I'm applying the ink. And it's on my acrylic block a little bit. Let's see what this does. Okay, that one's not crazy dark, but it is, and it will probably dry a little darker because the orange is drying darker. I kind of want a collaged effect in the background, and then I was going to go over again with black. But might as well practice with colors that aren't that bright. Now I do see I got something on there, so let me see. There we go. I think that's just ink right here. Yeah, that's just ink. Okay. Now I'm going to dry this. Let me take my hair dryer to it in a cool setting. I have a cool button on my hair dryer right here if I hold this. Let me dry that off. Oh wait, it's not so slippery. feel like I kind of want to see what the sepia actually looks like. See how dark it is. Still a little wet. And if I was smart and not so impatient, I would let this dry. I kind of want to see how dark the sepia is. Maybe I'll just do one with sepia, just to see. I don't think it's going to be dark enough. No, I don't think it is. Let's do some black. Hopefully I can not smudge with my black. Okay, ready? Ooh, we're going to attempt it. Oh no, I'm scared. I am kind of scared, actually. Let's do it over here. Okay. I kind of like that. This is a whole stamping effect. Stamping is not solid coloring. You know, they're not stencils, and we're not applying a solid color. We're stamping to get a stamping effect, or I'm stamping to get a stamping effect. I feel like I'm going to mess that up if I have it there. Let's do it like this. Oh, I kind of moved it. Ooh, not bad at all. Okay, let's see if we can get a fainter one. Yep, nice one there. Oh, that's pretty. Ooh, I like it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Very organic, huh? I actually really like that right now. I feel like I want the big one again, though. A little more of the big one. Just tapping some of the excess ink off of the little ones. I don't want all of these dots either, so I'm going to wipe that off there. Wipe that off there. And I kind of want the big one. Yeah. It's sticking right down. I'm pretty happy with that. These are fun. These are definitely fun. I definitely like these. Now, I'm curious with these. What would happen if we darken the edge a little bit? Let's see. Okay, guys, you know I'm playing. I did think I said that last night. I'm just playing with things. What if I take this ink pad? This is the sepia. The tape's actually helping me hold it on my finger. I was kind of afraid to use the black, which is why I'm using the sepia, just to see. feel like I do need a little black, but I don't. I wish I had the sponge tools, or like the sponge applicator or the felt applicator that Tim Holtz makes. Okay, I'm going to do it in black. Okay, ready? Don't mess it up, Katie. Okay, yeah. So I'm just kind of tilting it around the edge to give it kind of like a vignetted feel, or a frame, or a little border. Okay, very natural and kind of organic-y. And my last one, I'm going to have to wait to finish. I'm so upset, because that was going to be my most favorite, I think. At least in my head, I think it'll be. But we'll see when I actually do it. Okay, I do actually kind of like that. Does it seem to finish it? It almost kind of gives it a burnt look. Which I do like. So give yourself the creativity and the license, not the creativity, but the license to play and to try things. Because what is it hurting right now? What am I hurting? Nothing. If this came out badly, well, it came out badly. I can make it into a fridge magnet, you know what I mean? If it's not a piece I feel like wearing, I can make it into a fridge magnet. I can make it into a gift tag and put it on a package. There's plenty of October birthdays. I could put that on top of a box for someone. You know what I mean? It's not hurting anything. So allow yourself to be able to mess up, make mistakes, and to just enjoy the process of creating. I hope that's what I'm teaching you guys. So just enjoy the process of having fun, making art. Oh, I like that. I like that. Okay. Okay, so there's that one. And I wonder how they're going to look under resin, too. I do like the leaves in the background. That looks pretty cool. I don't know how I'll hang it. Whether I'll hang it like this, or I'll hang it like that. I don't really know. I kind of do like the ones in the background. Okay, so there's that one. It's got to finish drying, obviously. And then the other one we did. Yep, that one's pretty dry. It's this one, which I do also like. I feel like I should put my name on this too. Why not, right? Put a little KG in there. They both have this artsy feel. Let me use the brush one. Let's see what the brush one does. Maybe. Just kind of nondescript right there. I like these. So I just need to let them dry. Oh, you can see that texture on this one in the lighting right there. But once I get resin on it, the whole surface will be flat. And then, so tonight is Monday at 10:13 p.m. So I have to wait until Wednesday, when this should be coming Wednesday in the mail. So after work Wednesday, to finish the other one. So this is what my stamping that I'm doing on these guys. And I really like them. I have to let them dry. Super cute. So again, these are Lavinia stamps. And I'm curious if I have the receipt still. Let me see if I can see what kind of... Well, I was hoping I had the receipt still, but I don't see it. I was going to tell you if I saw it, how much it was and stuff, but I don't see the receipt lying around anywhere. So again, the Lavinia stamps, and they're from the UK. And then this one here. which I believe is called like mini maple leaf or something. Okay, so when I come back on Wednesday, I will show you what I plan on doing this to this really dark one. And so I hope you guys have enjoyed these so far. I've really liked creating them. I'm going to end the video with the pink one and the orange one. The reason for that is the brown one did not turn out how I wanted, okay? But in the course of not turning out how I wanted, I did something really cool. And I'm going to show you that on a separate one. So I'm going to have the background the same with a dark brown and everything. But I'm going to pick a different stamp than I used and messed up on. And kind of show you what I did. Because I think it would look really neat. So I'll make another brown one, and then I might make another one so I can show you what I did, because I want to build on it. So I'm going to end with the orange one and the pink one, and let me show you them quickly. Oh, can I not flip this around? Okay, let me flip this around. I'll show you them quickly. So this is a pink one, and I put a bail on it, and I resined it. Okay. This is how the pink one turned out after resin. There's the back, which I did resin, and I will show you in part 2. Okay, and then the orange one, which I really like. It's very grungy. You get that really stamping effect. And I'm going to do the same thing on the brown one. Here's the back to that one. You can kind of see where the tape was, but no one will really know that. So there are these two. And I will post part 2 probably the same day, but I want to go into a little more, so I'm going to make it a separate video. Okay?